educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Hey everybody, welcome back to season 5 of I Fucking Love Whiskey. I'm Andrew and I fucking love whiskey. I'm here as always with my co-host, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh.
It's me. Hey, I'm Joseph Limbaugh. You know, the thing about whiskey, I fucking love it. Yeah.
And
facts.
Today we have a guest who, when he contacted me and said, we should do a collaboration. And I said, that sounds great because I have an idea that you might also share this opinion. Jack, I'm going to mess up your last name. Beguedou.
Like a drum roll, Beguedou.
Beguedou. There you go. And Hood Sommelier is the handle he's going by. He's a millennial entrepreneur, a WSET 2 spirits expert, which I'm not sure what that is. We'll find out. Content creative, and just has been regaling us with stories in the pre-roll. So welcome, Jack.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. We're going to have some whiskey. I think that's the plan, right?
That is the plan. The plan is to have some amazing whiskey and even amazinger conversations.
Well, I make no guarantee for my conversation that it will be amazing. I do say the whiskey will be though, but you know, the conversation becomes more amazing the more whiskey that
is true.
Not me, but the people listening. The more they drink, the more my conversation is amazing.
Right. And at home, let us know what you're drinking because we're always interested in the chat there. You can see down in the corner of the approximate times that we're going to go to each new whiskey, starting with the first one. So let's not waste any time here. Let's go to number 1 here. This is an exciting Balvenie every year does 1 week of Peat, and this was done 14 years ago. Just released last.
I saw that it was spelled wrong. I saw it that it was spelled wrong momentarily in the.
Balvenie, yeah.
You didn't slip it past anybody. I caught it. Hey, I still appreciate you.
Don't give that a problem here. Anyways, Wheat of Peak here. Wheat of Peat. It's 48.3%. 14 years old. Comes with a picture of a wheelbarrow.
Wow.
We compete Balvenie. I'm glad you guys sent me this because I have a bottle, but I didn't want to open it because it was so hard to. I got it in auction, so I'm like, screw this. I'm not gonna open my bottle.
Like I like Balvenie. It's very drinkable, but this is the first time I've ever like put my nose into a Balvenie and gone like, oh, this is really exciting.
Fun, yeah. Funny thing is, the first time I convinced my fiance to drink any scotch, any single malt, was Balvenie Caribbean Cask. And even on my channel, I push people to say, you want to start in single malt? Let's start with Balvenie Caribbean Cask. But for me to watch, it's like meeting your hero when I knows this, because Balvenie, I've never been a peated whiskey. You know, for most of them, 17-year double wood, 18, all the Balvenie. But obviously, right, you're having this and you go, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. This is like meeting your heroes. Like, it's good whiskey, I already know that. But oh crap.
Little twist.
Just a little twist to it. Almost welcome you in like a hug from your mother.
Yeah. I'm getting a massive nostalgia hit from this. When I was in the 80s, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and the primer that you would spray on the lead figurines, like the white primer, that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of sitting like in a basement with a bunch of nerds. No, you'd spray the primer on and then you'd wait for it to dry and then you'd paint with your little brushes the figures. But it reminds me of the primer. It smells like that.
It's like a little paint room in the basement sort of thing. So I do get that.
And now I'm kind of thinking like a lot of Balvenie has that underneath it, but like more subtle kind of.
Wow.
Should we go in?
Yeah, let's go in. It's kissing time.
Oh boy. Oh, in the finish, that's the campfire. That's the. Oh,
wow. It's interesting. Is mid palate is soapy. That's the best way for me to say it. It's like it's soapy.
Yeah.
It's almost foamy mid palate.
Like sudsy, like there's like a
sud. Exactly. Sud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's almost like the texture, you know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's like if you went through a bunch of sud and you're trying to get out, like something was burning and the sud just hit you and you're just trying to get it out of your, your mouth. That's literally what happened mid palate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we haven't done the show, like we took a little break, but I just want to say this is my favorite whiskey. Like that might be a factor that I, but actually like this is definitely my favorite Balvenie. Like this is
I have a feeling I have to open mine.
Yeah. I think you might.
Yeah.
Did you get the same year or was it a different year?
No, I think mine is 2000. I think mine is like either 2000 or 2008. 2000. I think it's 2000. 2000. Yeah. It's a little older because I got it in an auction. It's much older than 2002.
Right. And I think I may have had the 2000 as well, and it's gone. It was too good. Too good to last.
Oh, I almost don't want to move on to the next whiskey. Like this is so good. I just want to sit and enjoy it.
Are you guys getting notes of mango?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But for me, but like it is on the front palate. Like there's something sweet, not like pear, not like what you get on a normal single malt. It's much sweeter. It's much more tropical.
Yeah, mango or maybe a little bit of passion fruit, but it definitely has that sort of
that tropical thing to it.
Yeah, like the mango, like it has that sort of texture to it that's also kind of soapy almost. Man, mango's my favorite fruit.
It's got a mouthfeel even this long after the finish. It's still making my mouth water with its delicious flavors.
I've only had one sip and I'm like,
this is just those things you have and you're like, this is just good whiskey. You know what I'm saying? It's just that. Like there's no oh my God, I'm dying, or oh my God, I don't know. This is just good.
This is what you expect out of Balvenie, something that's just solidly made, just excellently put together. But then you get this little peat on top of it, and for me it transcends. But of course, as we discussed, we're big peat heads.
Like I really like the rum cask, but this, as far as Balvenie goes, like this is, this just hits all the things that I like.
This is solid. This is 100% solid,
and it's surprising. It's got some surprising like. There's just something, unique about it.
Very, very surprising.
Now I'm getting like on the nose vanilla cake, like some sort of really very vanilla-y, like rich cream.
Oh, it's like a morning scone with vanilla icing or something.
Yeah, but like I'm getting like really heavy, just vanilla whipped cream, or like, I don't know, like could be like mangoes with like cream on them.
In the chat, liquor connoisseur is saying Jack wins for his video backdrop. Yeah, especially the way it's going in and out of focus like that. Like that's professional level background.
Just a little hint of what's back there.
That's a little bit. That's all. That's really all.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to science this too. Like this is at a level like I don't want to put any water in this,
Oh, and Jack, I think I may have forgotten to tell you, I fucking love whiskey.
This is a winner.
I can sit in this. Yeah, it
is. Those
limited.
whiskey that when you have, you're like, I can go to bed with this. This is a whiskey that will put you to sleep. That will get you in a very good mood. You cannot drink this whiskey and be mad.
Right.
Yeah.
You come out of it, you're calm. It's like that mother's hug. It's that nice warm blanket around you. You're just like, okay, it's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, now I get that oaky bite in the taste, like that edge of like, just like roasted nuts.
I need to get a better glass. I'm gonna sit this glass here. to make sure that the smell doesn't go away.
Quick, while he's gone, grab the starboard. I'll get the SMWS bottles.
Good God. Yeah, I want to keep smelling this. I've already had it. I'm going to leave the glass here and I'm going to come back in the morning and nose this.
Ooh, that's, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
I like
just
that.
cap it and get it ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, usually I gave about, when I had a good feeling about whiskey, get about an 89 to 90%. But if I come back, I nose it in the morning and it still give me the same feeling, you get 100 out of it. So
Just the ranking up. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
one of the tasters that we had when we were doing a tasting suggested tasting whiskey in the morning, like right when you get up. Obviously you're not going to drink a lot of it, but your palate is in a different place chemically, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I have my own method of nosing, tasting, and when I go through it, is always almost, never failed me on if I have to rank whiskey.
Please tell us about that.
Yeah,
I want to know what your method is.
So usually I will have 4 different type of glasses. So I will always to have a full 100% feel about a whiskey, and especially if I have to write about it, somebody want to review, I would do neat, covered. I would do on ice. I would do with water. So I always will try to get, I have 3 water sources. I have Islay water, I have Highland water, and I also have Speyside water.
Now I know what I have to bring back from Scotland in May. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. If you can get Islay water, get it. It's good to have whiskey that the chemical integrity of the whiskey is not affected, but the ABV go down. Because if you have water from the terroir of the whiskey, you're not messing with the integrity.
Right, because that's what they put in if they
Correct.
took it down.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is a commitment to fidelity, and that's smart.
Right. And sometimes when people will even say that, they'll be like, "Oh, I really want you to review this whiskey for me." I say, "Hey, do you mind, like the water you guys are using, do you mind putting in just a 3.75 and send it to me?" And they're like, "Why do you want our water?" I'm like, "I truly want to keep the integrity of the whiskey. I don't want to mess with it." And they're like, "That's some high level shit." I'm like,
That is.
I just want to make sure that I'm being fair to the whiskey, because your water does matter. So I will usually, if I do 375, then I can put the water in the low thing and put it on ice, so I can drop it in the thing. So still keep the integrity. I'll have it on water, and then will have it opened for just sitting there open for 24 hours. And then come back to it.
Really let it breathe for 24 hours.
Oh yeah, truly for 24 hours and just sit there. So if it's a peated whiskey, usually my basement just smell like fresh peat all around, right? So it's one of those things where I will have it that way, and then I will nose all 4, and then I will nose. I keep nosing. I will taste one, write my note, taste the other one, write my note, and to finish the whole tasting, I'll blend all of them together and I'll mix it into either Rob Roy or an old fashioned and just get it. And then you're like, to see relief in a cocktail, what would you get? And sometimes people send me shit. I'll be like, you know what? I've done every step out of it.
It's your job. Some people are gonna mix it. So you
gotta, it's like I've done every part of it. Neat. It sucks.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
Andrew's about to put some Los Angeles water into.
Don't do it, Andrew.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Well, I'm like,
it's my obligation. I'm thinking, Dad, you already did it, and you have.
Dad always does it.
You know I did it.
So it's one of those things where it's like I literally will go in, and literally, if you look at it, if you literally think about it, if I personally come out and somebody asks me about a whiskey, I can help, because I feel like there's, in the whiskey industry, there's a lot of people that will just come out of the gate and go, "Oh, this whiskey's trash," or "This is the best whiskey." And I go, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
The only way you can tell me about a whiskey is you have to, not me, I'm very specific. When someone say, oh, how do you like this whiskey? I say, I had it neat and it was really good. Or I'd be like, well, I had it on ice and it was really good. Or I had it neat, I didn't like it. I had it on ice, really didn't like it. Because I want to make sure the person knows how I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video about that, thinking, talking about somebody saying, oh, they don't like, Elijah Craig 18 years. And I'm like, how many of them did you have? And the person's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how many of them did you have? And they're like, oh, I just don't like it. I've had my buddies one and mine, and I just don't like it. It's just terrible. And I said, you realize it's written on it, single barrel, right? And he's like, okay. And I'm like, yes. How many, like I literally say, how many pair of underwears do you have? And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, that's literally the feeling. I'm like, do you have underwears that you like more than others? And he's like, yeah, exactly. That's literally it. So unless you actually try all your underwears, you can't tell me that underwear is trash. So you go and commend them. And it's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you got to try at least another 10 barrels, single barrels, and then you can come back and say it's trash.
Well, speaking of it's trash, I'm going to agree with that. Don't put water in this. Some sourness comes out in the taste, and it feels like the nose is diffused, which is backwards from what water should do for most.
But I think in this case it does make sense. Do you know why? Exactly. So I tell people all the time that if the ABV is below 45, water is unnecessary.
That's a good rule of thumb. Yeah.
If the ABV is below 45, water is unnecessary. You literally are trying to break the structure of the whiskey at that time.
And they probably already added water if it's that
correct.
Low. Like they probably already.
Like that's literally the legal limit. 43 is the legal limit there for you to have something, 40, 43. So if it's already 45 and below, water is irrelevant.
It's already put it in.
I mean, I think we find most of the time, I would say more than half of the time, water doesn't really help, or like as a lateral move, I would say.
I would say to that for me, honestly, my channel, the Hood Sommelier channel, the tagline is the truth is barrel proof. And the reason why is because I truly believe that no one should drink whiskey, at least good whiskey, at low ABV. I want my whiskey straight from the barrel or straight from the cask. Reason why is let me explore the whiskey the way I want to, which means that if you give it to me at 62% ABV, at 55% ABV, at whatever cask strength is, you dump it out of. Let me put water in, right? Let me put some ice in. Let me
try it first with
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can't take the water out.
You are putting makeup on a pig and telling me to love it, and I don't want to.
Speaking of which,
we got to move forward, Jack, to the next whiskey.
Yeah, let's move on to the Lagavulin natural cask strength. So this was
the place where you cannot go wrong.
I don't think you can. And
cannot go wrong.
Wow, this is the first time we've done this with my new camera, and I have to say it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good.
Look at you looking fancy with your new camera.
It's just an iPhone, but
2017 edition, 54.1%. So that's how it came out of the cask. And it doesn't actually have an age statement, so.
Well, Lagavulin cask strength, I think is usually a 9 year. Is that a 9? Can you show the bottle again? Because I think it isn't the 8 year the cask strength.
Often, but come on.
Oh, that's an old bottle.
I picked it up in 2017. It was their 2017 distillery edition.
Because distillery edition. Because the new, the only Lagavulin that is above 50 something is I think the 8 year now. Like that's the only cask strength in the regular line.
Yeah, no, I scoured the bottle. I looked for bottling marks. It was definitely bottled in 2017, but I can't find any date on distillation. So it's a mystery. No age statement. But you know what? It's Lagavulin, and this is coming home for me. Oh my God, yes. This is my favorite whiskey.
This is it feels like home.
Yeah, at first it had like a very almost caramel, like candy store sort of thing, like very sweet, and now it's more savory as I'm getting into the nose a bit more and unpacking it.
It feels like home.
Yeah, this Lagavulin was my first peated experience.
I think if you're a whiskey guy, that is pretty much everybody's kind of first peated, the 16.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lagavulin 16 have been everybody's. It's like your first kiss at prom.
I started with the Lafroig. That's what got me into whiskey. That was my gateway. Like I was like, this is what I expected from whiskey, and like, yeah,
you weirdo.
I'm.
I mean, it's true, but I think, well, no.
Yeah, I've got some right here. Like I'm just, Yeah.
I had to register the first time. I was so excited to own a Lafroig. I had to register my Lafroig. And
to get your square foot
certificate of a square.
Yeah. I've like kept those little booklets. You can keep sending them in. Aren't you supposed to like get a shirt or something if you send enough in? I don't know.
Like you can sign up on Friends of Lafroig. And if you register all of them and go and like all those things, if you have enough points, you can submit for your shirt or your glass of Lafroig.
Right. Yeah, you can register the codes now. So you just go to your digital site, you register.
You keep registering your code.
It records it digitally for you, so you don't have to save them. Right. Liqueur connoisseur can't remember his first whiskey.
Jaguar Germ had a whole like paragraph about feta cheese.
Mm-hmm. That might be I think we may be stung doing a show called I Fucking Love Cheese in a different episode, but we're not doing that.
Yeah, the funny thing is I don't like feta. Like it's one of the I love cheese, but
I would tell you right now, feta cheese is a category on its own. Me, I'm from a French culture, so I like my cheese stinky.
You gotta love your cheese. Yeah,
I like stinky cheese. Like I like blue cheese.
I like my cheese stinky,
and I like a stinky cheddar, and I like but there's some cheeses that I'm just like, no, that's too stinky for me, I guess. But
I want myself a camembert.
I love camembert.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we talking real camembert, like goat camembert. Like when you open it, the whole room have to actually think you farted right away. Like that's how stinky I like my cheese. Like
I think it's like goat cheese. I don't like goat cheese. I don't know why.
Right.
I don't know why.
Somebody is not about to go when you actually open your cheese, you haven't made it in life yet.
Fair enough.
I remember being in France and ordering the cheese plate for dessert, and he could understand that I was English, and he was like, "No, but sir, this is cheese. I don't think you understand. This is cheese."
Isn't this because they're trying to warn you, because you know damn well.
Oh, there's probably plenty of English people that went over there and went, "I will have cheese plate," and then we're like, "Oh, we can't eat this.
I can't eat it because good cheese is actually even a little bitter, almost at the end of it when you have it, because fermentation. And it's funny because I will tell you right now, man, I opened a camembert that was sent to me. Like my cousin was like, I had to make sure this is frozen, and I put it in my bag and put it in the Ziploc to make sure I put she had like the ice pack thing for her kid because she had the milk and everything else. So she's like, I squeezed this cheese in just for you. And I opened it the first time, and literally everybody in the room is like, and I'm like, oh, feels like home.
Yeah. A lot of people have that, that reaction when you get them to smell Lafroig though too, or you know what I mean, or a peaty whiskey. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is like tires. This is a pile of tires on fire. Why would you drink this?"
But you want to know the craziest thing that worked really well with peated whiskey? It's stinky cheese.
Yeah, I can see it.
If you have yourself some, like my plate usually when I want to enjoy myself, especially having a cask strength peated whiskey, I'm having some prosciutto. I'm having a little baked brie, some camembert, some Gouda, I'm telling you, my whole plate is just like some good stinky ass cheese, some chèvre, and just going in town. Like there's
Your whiskey will stand up to that.
Yeah, that makes me pull out the sticky cheese. Peated whiskey or an amazing red wine. Those two things make me pull out the cheese.
I hear you.
Cheese.
And this comes from somebody who lactose intolerant. So it tells you everything you need to know. This right here is home. It's home. Lagavulin, I mean, I think Lagavulin is, the featuring the collaboration they did with Offerman, obviously with the Guinness barrel last year. So that was just amazing whiskey. I think I went through 2 bottles of those. Lagavulin, I don't think Diageo messed with what Lagavulin can produce. I was happy enough this year. I don't know. Are you guys the Diageo special collection every year? Do you guys get those?
Not usually, no.
The only reason why I actually look for those is because my favorite whiskeys come out of that cask strength.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why, because fuck capitalism with this type of whiskeys. But I will tell you right now, that's the only reason why I do.
Right. I mean, that's why I went to the SMWS, is that you can get stuff directly from the distillery at cask strength. And
I would tell you right now, this year one, they did the mythical animals. And when they did the mythical animals, they did a Mortalac 19-year cask strength.
Mm-hmm.
Big deal. They did Lochnagar 16-year Royal Lochnagar cask strength. They did Oban 12-year cask strength, which you don't see a lot of Oban.
You don't see that.
So that's the only reason why I actually love those yearly release of Diageo, because they're as collectible as they come, because truly you don't get to see those released normally.
No, and it's so frustrating because Diageo could release like 0.005% of the distillery output as a single cask.
Cardew at cask strength.
And they would not miss it. They wouldn't miss it.
No, they would not.
But
because they're greedy as hell. They are some greedy bastard. I'm not, so I'm not going to tell the average person to go get it. But if you like your favorite edition of whiskey at cask strength, it is worth the set. I think the whole set was like 500, but it was worth the set because you get Oban, you get Cardew, you get Lagavulin, you get Mortalac, the Royal thing, and you get Talisker 8-year cask strength. Now they had a bonus 16-year cask strength Lagavulin. How much do you think it was?
I want to say $89 because I want to make it affordable, but I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't think it would be $89.
It was 800 euros.
800 euros.
That's $1,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
No, that's
we have a question in the chat for you, Jack. Do you drink it or keep it for investment? That's the question.
No, I will tell you right now. I have whiskeys that I keep for investment. Those are whiskey that are collectible. Those are things I buy probably in auction. They're 50, 45, 35, 45, 40 euros whiskey, but I don't truly in regular edition release. No, I actually keep those for special occasions. Like if, one of you guys is visiting Nebraska, I'm like, okay, I'm going to open.
Hold on, I'm going to book a ticket right now. If that's the case, I'm just going to get on.
Because for me, good whiskey is enjoy amongst friends. and those whiskey that you have that you can't always open when you want to. When a friend is visiting, for me is an honor to bring someone in and truly present them with something like, okay, I never had it, you never had it. We are gonna open this shit together, right?
Yeah,
that's why we do the show.
That's why we do the show.
Why we do the show. Yeah.
I will tell you, they started this thing in 2020. So look at that.
Balvenie. There he goes.
30-year cask strength. So last year they did mythical animals of the prairie, and this year they did mythical animal from history. So these are truly collectible. They will be one of the kind. I'm sure 10 years from now, somebody's gonna talk about this shit and probably sell it. It will sell in auction somewhere. But I'm truly just waiting for a reason to open it with a friend of mine. Now, is it expensive? Fuck yeah. Those are they're averaging 150 euros each. So this is a $250 bottle. But at cask strength, I'm gonna spend that.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing is you can keep it for a long
Correct.
time, and it's still going to be just as good. Just check your cork every once in a while.
Correct.
We're falling a bit behind, but are we sciencing this once again? I feel like this is a crime.
Going to.
It's a crime to science it. Let's see what Thad says.
I think Thad did. Thad?
It's not as bad as the last one when putting water in.
Only a recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. Like with water, it's a fresher nose and like some like more bubbly, like soda. Like it's a lot more lively in the nose, but it kills off.
Let me get some Islay water and see what that was.
Oh, damn it!
Oh yeah. And then it just kind of kills the taste.
Water, you should have sent it to us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Thad. Go ahead.
No, like it's like if you want to try it, I would say go for it, but it's nothing special. Like it takes something like I really enjoyed this Lagavulin. Like this might be my favorite Lagavulin that I've had.
It's right up there.
Like this is really, really interesting. Like without water, I was getting like soured candies, cucumbers, like buttermilk that's like kind of like a little culture. This is all on the nose, and like a wet hay bale. For the taste, it was like a hot, sweet toffee. It had a nice velvety texture to it, and like some like cream cheese icing in there. And then on the finish, like I got some pears and some tart fruits. Oh yeah!
If you want to order it, that's water from Islay.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, there's like you can actually order it. All
yeah.
Right.
But if 150 milliliter of water is worth $35 or $40 for you, then
you know what? I'm already spending a lot on a flight. I'm just gonna stick it in a stream.
No,
go to the tap at Lagavulin.
So no. If you actually go to Lefroy, they will let you tap in. You can get like a 750 water. You can literally get it for free.
Done.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna go to Lefroy.
I mean, 10 years from now, we're going to be spending that much for all water. So might as well get used to it.
Spoken like a guy from California.
Well,
climate change is everywhere.
This is so good.
Let me see if you put some Islay water, what do you get?
What do you think?
More fruity.
Mm-hmm.
The peat mellows down. It's much more fruitier. You get more pear, stone fruits. And wow, I like this. More stone fruit, very light on the front, and goes down much more easier. Not that harshness from the cask strength at all. I like this.
Well, if I had some Islay water, I would science it, but I
don't. So I'm not going to.
I'm not going to put the trash that comes out of the LA faucets into this fine whiskey.
Speaking of fine whiskeys, bang! Travel retail exclusive.
Port Charlotte. Now
Jack,
you were saying you don't have any Port Charlotte, right?
I do, but not that one.
Oh, okay. No, this was a TRE. Picked it up in 18, maybe 19. Can't remember. one of the trips.
No, you know what?
Marsala cask.
I was lying. Port Ellen is what I don't.
Port Ellen, no. You know the Port Ellen I do have in Big Peat. If you get Douglas Lang's Big Peat, he puts Port Ellen in that. I don't know why does it. Why does it?
Oh no.
Casks.
Guys.
But yeah.
Give me a moment to brag.
No, don't.
Last year, July, I presented on a Belfast Whiskey Fest, and Douglas Lane was there. So I got a chance to talk to Douglas Lane, and I have all 10 Big Peat. After we were done talking, I went through the presentation. We talked, we did everything, and he's like, hey, what's your address? I have a gift for you. I thought like he's gonna send me a glass or something, because I never had Big Peat before then. So he sent me every single Big Peat that were released. So the Edinburgh, I have the Edinburgh special, the distillery release special,
the Christmas one.
Dude, all my Big Peats are lowly. Yeah, they're there. Limited edition of the Big Peat that was released for 2020 Christmas edition.
Yeah.
And this year myself, I purchased the new Big Peat for Christmas. That was the Big Peat on a sled.
Yep.
That came out. But I will tell you right now, that 4 years ago, Big Peat was one of. He's like, that's my own bottle that I put in a thing for you. It's like, I don't think there's that anywhere. And I will tell you, I fell in love with Big Peat.
I've only seen him on the live feeds, and he's such a character.
Yeah. I will tell you, the guy from Douglas Lane is, I just love them. They're, they're still small enough. They're still doing well enough as a company. So I'm very, very excited.
Now this is
my favorite whiskey.
This is right away like a candy store whiskey, which is like in my mind, but it's surprising as a Port Charlotte. Like it seems, this smells like to me it smells like a.
It's even darker than the.
Like off, Lagavulin, yeah. It smells like a Speyside or something. Like it's really.
Is the Port Charlotte peated from Bruichladdich?
Yes, it is, but it's not Islay peat. They actually use peat from around the Inverness region.
Okay,
yeah, that's where they're malting right now. But they're setting up, so they're going to malt on Islay and make it, hopefully 100% Islay.
Yeah, Port Charlotte in general is kind of like that's my favorite like everyday whiskey. Like I love, I don't know what it is, but it just hits. If I'm gonna grab something for.
I always feel like Bruichladdich kind of have their own. They have their own portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with Bruichladdich.
No, it's so Victorian. They still have the open top mash tun. I think it's the only one around. It's crazy.
I don't know how much you guys do bourbon, but I feel like Bruichladdich is the Buffalo Trace of Scotch.
I can see the parallel.
Think about it. Every year I spend about $750 to get 3 bottles. And while I'm checking out, they would look at me and go, oh, we have this bottle here called, I don't know what it is. I don't know what time, how old it is. I only know of the approximate year, but we give it a fancy name called Black Art.
Yeah.
But you have to spend about the same amount you paid for these 3 bottles that you like on that one bottle. But I cannot guarantee what the fuck you're gonna drink in that.
Yep.
Right. And every time I'm like, I feel like Bruichladdich is like the Buffalo Trace of Scotch. They,
liquor connoisseur in the chat agrees with you. The Buffalo Trace analogy, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's crazy because every time I do, I'm like, think about Octomore. The cheapest Octomore you can get if you come out hot is $1.99. That's the cheapest. And usually everybody's fighting on it. You look at this guy. You see?
Look at this
tater,
guy. Yeah.
Look at this tater. Like literally, that's tater for everybody. That's the Black Art. Like Black Art for me, I bought only one Black Art in my life. That was 2 years ago. I tasted it and I'm like, this was not worth anything And the person literally gave me at retail at like $3.99 or something, doing me a favor. And I'm like, I can't return this shit if I could.
I will take it. If you don't want it, I will take it.
Yeah, I've had different experiences with Black Heart. I've very much enjoyed it, but I haven't had a ton myself. But yeah.
And somebody told me
Octomore.
Octomore, I'm a huge fan of Octomore.
Dude, my obsession started in 8.8, you know, the 8-point Octomore, and since then, every single one of them I've had.
Coley is going to kill me, but if you can get an Octomore 2 or an Octomore 1, you're not even going to believe. Like it brought me to tears. It was so good.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cry and G's in my pants at the same time. Those are the two things that are gonna happen.
That's
an expert level.
Yeah. That's desperation level 200.
That's when you really know you like a scotch.
Yes. You know, usually when I have Octomore, I get goosebumps right away.
I don't even think I've tasted this Port Charlotte yet. Have I just been nosing it? I don't think I've tasted it.
No, I've been nosing it too. I haven't tasted it either.
I think it's something you can spend a lot of time in the nose here. Marsala casks.
Oh my God. That's my favorite whiskey.
I just love their cask explorations.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
That is so good. That is like, that's like Port Charlotte, but like amazing port. You know, this reminds me of the, what is it? The MC1, MR1, what is it?
MRC1?
That's the one, yeah, MRC1. It reminds me of that. Like it's Port Charlotte, but with like, oh yeah, that really just fucking hits the mark.
Marsala is a fortified wine.
That Marsala cask just takes over.
Yeah. But it's still got that effervescence that I find in Bruichladdich Spirit, that kind of graininess almost. I love whiskey.
I fucking love whiskey.
I fucking love it.
So Andrew,
let's have a moment of silence for this one.
Yeah, every whiskey so far, and this doesn't normally happen, but I'm like, I don't want to put science in any of these. I don't want to put a drop of water in this.
Wow.
We should ask Thad what he thinks of this one.
Oh, I've sadly just been nosing it just like you. I mean, I have 2 bottles of the MRC01 here, but like when I pour that, I just nose it for half an hour before I even get into it.
So good. It's so good.
I think that Marsala cask itself, because I think I have a Bunnahabhain that was aged in Marsala as well, and you can't go wrong with that cask. It's tricky, but when it's done right, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's not an overwhelming amount of that Marsala influence,
savory.
But
savory. That's how
savory.
It's like burnt end. It reminds me of walking into a barbecue that was already cooked, very heavy barbecue, pork barbecue that was done, just
dripping off the bone
with just a little bit of mist from the sea coming onto you.
There's a question from Liquor Connoisseur. How is using a different cask like a sherry or what have you not an adulteration of the spirit? Couldn't you just add a few teaspoons of sherry to a cask and call it good? I've been thinking about this a lot.
I will let you answer first.
Yeah. My answer would be, go ahead, Joseph. Sorry.
Well, I'm interested to I'm willing to get just pour some banknote or something really cheap and put some sherry in it just as an experiment to see what happens. I would do that, but nothing higher end than that. But yeah, I mean, it's such a complicated chemical reaction that I don't think you could get this from just putting sherry.
Something about the wood that has been infused with these this alcohol that the whiskey is breathing in and out of, and it's mixing. It's not mixing just as a liquid. It's mixing as a product of all the other interaction that went on between the previous contents of the cask and the wood, and you're getting something magical. It makes
me think of how complicated proteins are, and how they the protein the coronavirus, how it has these particular proteins and keeps changing them, and how we're a complicated mess of proteins, And then you apply that to like sugars, and it's like there's just these complicated molecules that you cannot. That's why every whiskey is incredibly different and surprising, is because it's just, it's an interaction of these complex organic molecules with us, these complex organic beings. And I don't think you can just like fake it.
The one thing also is you have to understand that one of the reasons why I love single malt, to answer your question, is actually because there is a certain integrity about Scotland way of making whiskey, right? They take pride in their ability to actually give you something amazing. There's a reason why there's a whole amount of years that you have to be before you become a master blender or a master distiller or anything that of that sort. Crazy thing is, there's a certain sense of equality in single malt. They all made the same way. What truly makes a difference in a single malt, the power resides in two places, in the cask and in the master blender. That's where the power resides. So if they don't give power to that cask, the whole thing will become a sham. So what you're discovering, because there's a reason why in single malt, if I have to derive a little bit, you see independent bottlers, because the origin of single malt was there was someone who was making it. The monks were making it, but they weren't aging it in anything. They were selling.
Yep.
Most houses were literally buying it so they can age it either in their ale or their winery cask that they had. So that's why the concept of independent bottler is now weird in Scotland, because for ages you can produce your single malt and I can just come buy it. But what makes me different is because I bought some casks from Italy, from France, from India, from anywhere else, and I want to age it in it. Most rick house or rack houses in Scotland are not like in the rick house in America, because the temperature doesn't even allow for fluctuation to actually help. So when you are thinking about single malt, you have to think about almost like golf. If you cheat, you cheating yourself. You are not really cheating anybody. You are the experience of aging this spirit that is neutral and putting it into a cask. The power you're giving it is how that cask is going to take its time and really massage that spirit and bring its personality to that spirit. That's the reason why sometimes they would taste the spirit and go, it tastes okay with this Marsala cask or this ex-bourbon cask, but maybe we should dump it now into this other cask so we can get a +1 or +2. It's like putting, and actually a lady in whiskey made me actually think of this. She said, whiskey, as you see it from cask to cask, is like a woman putting makeup on. She's putting foundation on. Maybe that's the ex-bourbon cask. Then she's putting some eyeshadow on. Maybe that's the Marsala cask. Then she's putting something on. By the time you see the whole thing, you have layers of flavor that affected this whiskey. Just like you see a woman look beautiful with all the makeup on. You don't know how many layers of crap went into this thing for you to get this beautiful image.
I would say it's more like someone who lived in one country for several years, moved to another country for several years, and then moved to another country. And it's like, I lived in France for 5 years, and all of that became part of my personality. Because a whiskey to me is as complicated as a human being. You know what I mean? Like, and it takes years. It takes years.
It has personality, and it takes years to build personality. It's like asking a toddler, "What's your name?" or expecting behavior out of a toddler versus an adult that lived in multiple places and being influenced by so many things. And you go, you know what? You're deep. You remind me of an onion. You got layers. That's literally what you get when it comes to single malt. So I truly believe that, and I tell people all the time, the one mistake people don't make is they even in bourbon, or in single malt is they worry about the name, worry about the label. The details on the labels are a big deal, right? You literally read a label, and I will tell you, Scottish people are very proud to tell you, no additive in it. Yep. They will tell you on chilled filters,
no coloring added.
No coloring added.
Brooke Laddie is doing total transparency with like the classic Laddie. They're telling you exactly how many casks of each thing came in at what percentage.
They're not hiding any of this shit from you because they want you to know that they take pride
and care.
And that's integrity. Like that's integrity. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Liqueur connoisseur is asking, could you make a whiskey that tastes good, perhaps without provenance? And I think if you've not been to Lost Spirits in Los Angeles, that's where you need to go, because he's a mad scientist and he's trying to do this chemical reaction. He's trying to make a whiskey like drink, because 3 years he's not doing that, but he's trying to make something that tastes good just from the basic elements. And it's interesting.
I think they will eventually get something that's interesting or there, but it's going to take a while. But it's it's like a deep fake. It's like a deep fake or something where they just put someone's face on another actor.
Right, you're kind of like that's not quite right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do we think of this? Because we got to move on.
I love it. Thad, you scienced it. What do you think?
For me, the water, LA water, I should say. With LA water, it took away the savoriness of me. Like, it didn't kill it, it just packed it way down. And it brought out like some like newer like Scotch tape, like more like industrial chemical smells out of it. And it also made the taste a lot sweeter for me, which I didn't want from this. Like, I'm happy it's there, in the base form. But I don't want it to be like super sweet or overly sweet for me. And also I don't know how you'll feel about this for anyone who's had the MRC01, but I prefer the MRC01 taste, but I do prefer the nose on this to the MRC01. So like if I could have each of both worlds in a single whiskey, I'd be so happy.
So you just have the MCO1 in one glass to smell it and then taste
it. There you go.
Smart.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the finale here. Let's go to Caol Ila, the most prolific distillery on Islay. This is an SMWS bottle called The Beast from the Yeast. Oh my God, 10 years old. I've never tasted it before. I opened it specifically for the show.
I have a question about Caol Ila that I don't know the answer to. Like, can you get Caol Ila like as just a regular bottling, or is it always like an independent bottler or like mixed into something else? Like,
they do have their own bottling from the distillery occasionally. It's
intermittent, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying? I've never had like just a Caol Ila that wasn't an independent bottler or something.
I know I picked one up at the distillery that was a Caol Ila just bottled bottle, but it's not common. It's usually
it's very not common. I think they've made enough money by just selling their juice to people, and it became kind of their business model.
Yeah. And they're owned by.
I love Caol Ila. Like whenever I have it, I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
I think I have a 15-year-old Caol Ila.
How is it? Like, how is the stuff from the directly from the distillery?
I didn't open it. It was just
for me. Go to Nebraska. We got to go to Nebraska.
Honestly, it was just cool for me to just have a Caol Ila because I don't see it often. It was just cool. But honestly, if I tell you how many Caol Ila I have here that are independent bottlers, you'd be like,
it stands out, right? I mean, when I have a Caol Ila, I'm like, this is amazing. I want more of this.
I got like what do you call it? I have the what do you call it? I think what do you call that? Gordon MacPhail one. I have like
the new 13-year-old one.
Three different kind of them. I have a Claxton one. I have Claxton, like an old bottler. I have a signatory one of it. There's plenty of Caol Ila going around. So somewhere I'm like, you know what? It's like that guy everybody knows in the neighborhood. Okay. He just wearing different clothes and just passing by. You're like, that's Johnny. Yeah, that's one-legged Johnny. Everybody knows one-legged Johnny. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but if it's one-legged Johnny, it's probably going to be amazing, though, right?
I know. It's like,
I love whenever I have Caol Ila, I don't think I've been disappointed by one so far.
I'll tell you right now, but because it's one-legged Johnny and everybody knows one-legged Johnny, when I see Caol Ila somewhere, I'm like, okay, what do you guys do with it now? Right. You know, did you put a hat on it? Did you put a shoe on it? What did you do now?
Did you give him a left and right shoe and he's
Correct.
just wearing one shoe?
Correct. It's like so for me, it's one of those things where Caol Ila is like, the neighborhood crackhead. Everybody knows you. You're gonna ask me for $5 or something. We are prepared for it. So that's how I feel when it comes to Caol Ila. It's like, I don't think there's been an independent bottler that did not have Caol Ila.
Yeah, it would surprise me. They've got so many casks. They're just like, take one, please. Yeah, you're gonna buy. Yeah, go. Oh my God, this nose is a burnt match. It's not a burnt match. What is that? Oh, it's my favorite whiskey.
Yeah, this is my favorite whiskey. At least from the nose.
And I never had this, this SMWS. So you guys definitely are sending me something that I do not have. It's kind of hard to find Islay SMWS because when those come out, people buy it before even you can get your.
If it's an Ardbeg, forget it. You have to go into a lottery to get that. But Caol Ila, I have I've got 36 independent bottlers of Caol Ila in my collection. Actually, no, 34 because 2 of these are distillery.
I just feel like I've had a lot of good experiences with Caol Ila lately.
Yeah.
But have you now, Andrew? You got some from the distiller. Have you tried that?
I have tried that, and I think I still have a little bit left of one.
So you must like it if you only have a little left.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to dive right in and taste this because we're near the end of the hour, and
it's a little shy on the nose, surprisingly, for such a high alcohol.
Tastes like gunpowder.
Either that or burned up my nostrils with the Marsala cask that I was taking.
I had the opposite reaction to the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the nose is shy to me.
The nose is expected for me. I honestly always think that I'm like, Caol Ila is like, okay, you get a little bit of that burnt, that burnt end kind of feeling like, I think burnt coffee is what I get usually on a finish with Caol Ila. You get a bit of that peat midway, and you get a little bit of that sweetness in. And for me, he never surprises me. It's like when your kid look at you and go, "Look what I can do." Like that's how I feel when I have Caol Ila. I'm not trying to.
You know what they're gonna do. You know exactly what they're gonna do.
It's like that. I'm not trying to hate on Caol Ila, but that's literally how I feel every time I have Caol Ila.
One leg Johnny.
Yeah, it's like.
I guess for me, I like knowing where it's gonna go. Maybe that says something about me, where I'm like, this is Caol Ila, the place of smoky burniness, and I'm happy to char everything that I taste. I don't know.
It reminds me of literally charred. Like the end always remind me of when you eat that steak, that T-bone steak, and if the bone burnt a little bit and you get that little charred part at the end is what you get with a little bit of fatness. There's not enough oil, but there's still that sweetness on the front. The peat stays in your mouth, kind of reside there for a little bit. But Caol Ila is, I would tell you right now, I have not tasted a Caol Ila that surprised me.
Interesting. I think for me, it's the campfire. Like maybe it's the nostalgia because it's always got campfire in there.
I don't know. Because here's what I usually say. The reason why Beguedou, Ardbeg, remind me more of campfire than Caol Ila is because they use darker cask, right? That are actually bringing those dark note that remind you of that marshmallow-ish, burnt marshmallow-ish sweetness versus Caol Ila that just give you like, it's not even like coffee, coffee kind of burnt, that is not, there's not enough sweetness and intricacy on front to make you think about it. It's like, it's good. You all right. So needless to say, I don't like things that are almost too much everywhere, because everybody try to put their twist on it. And you're like, like, I stopped even buying Caol Ila anymore. I'm like, okay, I've had enough. There's plenty of you around here. Unless somebody
I feel the same way about goat cheese. So,
unless somebody
get
put their Caol Ila in a unicorn fart barrel, I don't know if I'm actually.
Now, unicorn farts, those
are very rare and expensive. Yeah, it's subjective. That's what I love about it. That's one of the things I love about it. I don't know why I love Caol Ila so much. Yeah, no idea.
I mean, this one, I think I'm gonna have to try water in, because it is.
I feel like this could be interesting with water. I'm willing to try it, but I'm also gonna wait here.
I'm gonna science it.
We haven't scienced anything, I think, really.
But he's using Islay water, which is just not fair.
I think it's more fair. Here we go. Bing.
It's like a chalkboard brush in the nose after adding water to me.
I do feel like it opens it up a bit, or takes it in an interesting direction for the nose.
Feel more of the peat as well.
Yeah, I feel like I'm standing on a gigantic chalkboard in a land made of chalkboards.
I like it.
Chalkboard land.
I like it with water.
Have you tasted it, or just knows it?
Yeah, no, I literally just taste it. I actually like it with water.
Something a little more savory comes out with the water. Something like wheaty, maybe.
Yeah, there's like a really dark wheat bread, like a dark, not a rye, but like a wheat bread that's
What is
got butter on it.
What do you think?
So I prefer the taste with the water. I prefer the nose without the water. Or like without the water, I was getting sweet oysters that were peppered with paprika, little gem socks in there, some fresh oak chest, and a little buttery. But like with the water, like it didn't like kill all that off. It just, I preferred it so much more.
Mellowed it down.
Yeah, like.
But I would definitely say the taste got better with water.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. Like I much prefer the taste with the water.
I think the finish popped out more with water as well.
It is interesting. Like I feel like over time, having done this, you get a sense of like, I think this is going to be better with water before you put water in. You know what I mean? And I think we all, because it seems like, I mean, it's still subjective and there's margin for error, but I feel like we all were like, I want to try this with water, And partially it could be because this has the most alcohol of all of the ones we've had.
Absolutely. 56.2 comes in hot.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking about what Jack said about how Caol Ila has just like a more like, this is Caol Ila and it's got this flavor profile, and it's like, well, maybe water will make it do something interesting.
Well, Caol Ila produces 300 million liters of. That's not true. It's something incredible.
It's 500 trillion liters.
500 trillion liters of whiskey a year. That's not true.
I can make up numbers.
They age most of it in Glasgow on the mainland. But some of it is aged there at the warehouses, and their warehouse testing is very worthwhile if you can do it.
I do want to taste that Caol Ila that you got from the distiller now. That is my new goal.
Okay, I will see if I can find it. It says it's in my inventory and not dead. So Tipsy Asparagus, that's what I said. 300 million liters a year. I was right.
That's a lot.
No, it's 3. It's only 3.
3 million.
So 3 million is still a lot. And I love the dichotomy too, because Brooke Laddie employs like 80 people and does everything by hand and everything like in the Victorian style. And Caol Ila has like 8 people running the distillery. It is so automated, so just If you're producing 3 million liters a year, you've got to be automated. That's an insane amount of spirit.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of explains why it's like, oh, this is a Caol Ila. This is also Caol Ila. This is also Caol Ila.
This is an SMWS. Now I want to know what their tasting notes are, because they have those fancy poetic tasting notes.
Oh, they do. They do. Just a moment. Just a moment. And I'm good because I have to go to my database, because if you just go to the bottle, they don't put the full tasting notes on anymore.
Isn't it database?
Database. Well, let's see here. Scroll. Why can't I see that? What's going on? Hold, please.
Oh, please.
One more time. Just so, because it's all. I'm confused. I've just messed up my database. I don't know what's happening here.
You have it in Google Sheets.
I haven't got it in Google Sheets, so I can back it out. I'm just going to paste this into a document so I can actually read it. There we go. Here's what it says. The brilliance of white, hot peat coals, a blizzard of hot smoked fish, and then squid ink, oyster sauce, singed Hessian cloth, and molten Marmite smoothies. A heady brew of cow fields and gusts of pin-sharp slicing, petrol-driven minerality. With water, the salty teardrops flow, briny, tartly citric, hyper-fresh coastal aspects, and things like soggy kelp, rock pools, and the sharpness of flint smoke. The mouth is huge, pristinely composed of and showing all manner of chiseled minerals, crushed seashells, wind-lashed rigging, zingy fisherman's friends, and carbolic sourdough. With water, there's a smoky wort, peppered mackerel, juniper, mustard powder, and a tempestuous collision of pure peat smoke, furious wash foam, jazzy salinity, bogella, which I don't know what that is, mouthwash, gauze, tide-dash seaweed, and a fisherman's welly brimming with soda bread, eucalyptus toothpaste, and bath salts. Holy smoke.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of tasting.
That's the first time. I mean, I love the SMWS, but I do feel like
that's a lot.
This is an old bottle, right? When did this come out? Like this is
no, this is the recent outturn. I think.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I feel like they're trying too hard at this point. Like, you know what I mean with their like, I love their tasting notes generally, but it's like they always are going, like they grab stuff from like just the variety of words and tastes out there, and this time it's like I'm watching season 6 of Doctor Who, where it's like, oh, you know, I get it.
Too much.
It's too much.
I think you mean the best season of Doctor Who. Thank you very much.
Season 6, wasn't that with like Matt Smith?
Yeah, Matt Smith and
Tom Baker
and Jillian. I cannot remember her last name. Gillian. Thank you. And Rory. Come on, Rory's like the best part.
No, I love the companion. That was the first time I loved the companions more than the Doctor. Jack.
Oh, yeah.
We're at the end of our time for us to ask you a question.
It's about time. Yes.
A very serious question.
We're sorry we have to get serious on you after this wonderful episode. And I wish we could go on talking.
Yeah, we will have you on the show again. It was really delightful. I learned, I think, more in this episode than any other episode. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you've had these 4 whiskeys today.
Yes.
You enjoyed them, we think.
Yes.
You seem to enjoy them.
So we want to know, do you like whiskey?
I fucking love whiskey.
So do we.
We suspected. Thank you so much, Jack, for being on the show. Thad, thanks for doing our tech. Outside In Theater, please watch the other shows on this channel and subscribe. It's a wonderful artist-supported and inclusive community. Also, thank you for being here. Like and subscribe, and follow Jack. He's got an amazing, fun Instagram posts, and probably on other channels too, because he's a media genius.
If you're definitely on Instagram, you're gonna have a good time following me. I'm always crazy.
Yeah. Great, and your Monday little quotes and everything, just so much fun.
You know, wisdom from Africa every Tuesday. I actually post
Tuesday
from Africa.
Yeah, we never got into the stuff about West Africa and the 3 whiskeys that they
You
drink
know,
there, which you were talking about. That was so
to-
interesting.
You'll
We'll
have to
have you
bring,
back
you
again.
have to bring me back to talk
Yep.
about that.
Oh, too bad.
Oh no, we'll have to add my.
And next time I'm the one picking what we drinking.
All right.
You can come back next week then.
So I
Quite that simple.
can actually truly challenge your palate, because I want to actually know what Andrew is gonna be like faced with a blind,
It's exciting.
knowing that his inventory is just that vast.
It's
I'm
exciting.
very curious to see what the blind is gonna do to his palate. I just want to see him just squirm for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, and it's easy to make me confused because
We should have Jack and Coley on at the same time and like have them blind each other. Like if they're gonna blind us, we should blind them.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Everyone at home, have a safe night. We fucking love whiskey. We fucking love you. And I don't know what else to say. Hearts.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Keep trying. Gonna catch you. Keep trying.